everybody, it's Jasmine and this is a very impromptu video. I was cleaning my room because we went to IKEA yesterday and I got a new drawer, so I wanted to reorganize my room. And while I was reorganizing my room, I just thought, you know what? Let's take out some things out of my collection that I no longer need. So this is going to be a pile of makeup that I either just haven't used at all or used once and I just don't care about. So let's go ahead and talk about the items that I feel like need to be put on the chopping block. Also, the lighting might be weird because I'm also choosing to film in the weirdest time of the day, which is sunset. So you know what? I don't care. So the first item that we have is actually an item that I was really excited to actually buy, and it took me a very long time to find this, but I think once I actually got it and once I started to use it, yes, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I think that's the key because I just felt like I have so many highlighters in my collection that this one ended up being a little lackluster compared to a lot of the other competitors in my collection, and that is the e.l.f. and Heart Defensor Coffee and Cream Highlighter Duo. I feel like the bronze side is a little too bronze and I feel like the white side is a little too white. So I just feel like, yes, I can mix it, but at the same time, I just don't gravitate towards it because I just feel like there are some highlighters in my collection that I know I could just pop on and then leave the house and it'll be really good. Yes, this formula is really creamy. However, you know, I just have better highlighters in my collection, to be quite honest. The next item here is a foundation, and I've used this probably a total of 3 times on my skin, and I feel like compared to their new release, this is by Touch in Sol, this is their Advanced Real Moisture Liquid Foundation. This compared to their newer release foundation, the newer release is like 500 times better than this one. I feel like the formula is relatively the same. I think you're working with a very liquidy, lightweight foundation that will offer you medium to buildable coverage. I feel like the only thing that is a downfall for me is the shade, quite honestly, and they only had 2 shades in this foundation line, which is definitely a problem. This one is Natural Beige, and I feel like in drugstore foundations typically, I used to only use Natural Beige and then I realized Golden Beige was more of my shade. So this Natural Beige shade on me kind of looks a little pink because it has a neutral base, and because I'm so yellow, sometimes neutral colored foundations just end up looking pink. So this one, she's not my shade, so she just has to go. I have a brand new release from Covergirl that I have not used. Pink. You guys know me, I don't wear pink, but this is their brand new Outlast Ultimate 24 Hours Liquid Lipstick. I'm sure it's really amazing. I think CoverGirl liquid lipstick formulas are actually the best in town as far as the drugstore is concerned. I think that the formula is really nice, soft, velvety, but it doesn't feel drying and it doesn't emphasize a lot of texture on the lips. So I'm sure that this is great. I just don't want to use it because I just don't like pink. I have another brand new item here by Revolution. I just find that in my collection I have far too many powders. I have a dedicated section, if you guys seen my vanity tour video, I have a dedicated section for my powders, and this is the one powder that doesn't fit and it's the one powder I haven't opened. So well, like, you know, it's gonna go. And this is a coconut baking powder, and I believe this smells like coconut too. I don't know, I haven't opened it, but yeah, she's here. I had the privilege of receiving some of the items from the Urban Decay Moondust collection. I have used 1 pump of this just to see what it looks like on the skin, so this is still relatively new. It is in a pump, and it is their Glitter Liquid Face and Body Illuminizer. Let me open it from the bottom just to show you guys. The reason why I don't like this is because you guys know I am yellow, and this is a silver body glitter, so it's supposed to give your body like that nice iridescent sheen, but I feel like when you put silver on a yellow skin complexion, I think it looks a little off, if I do say so myself. So it's not for me. It's not the tone that I would typically go for if I were to use like a body glow, and I don't use body glows in general, so hopefully this can find a new home somewhere. It's just not for me. while going through my collection, I found this brand new in the box Revolution and Patricia Bright face palette. Now you guys know I actually have this exact one, but in a different shade that I like to use for my face. Actually, I'm not wearing any face products. It's just my eyes and lips. Can you guys believe that? But this one is a You Are Gold face palette, and this one is more suited for deeper complexions. I don't know why this is in my collection, quite honestly. So I hope that she could find a new home because she's really good. I really do like the formula of this. I think that the little trios in here look really good. The bronzer, blush, and highlights work amazing on the skin. And there's such a big variety selection with the trio. So Patricia, you did a really good job. I follow her on Instagram finally. She's very beautiful. I love it. But yeah, I don't need this. I already have it. I already have one that works for my skin. But this one is just too dark. Next up, we have here a palette from Laura Geller. This is their Nude Attitude palette. It's a multi-finish eyeshadow palette, and this is your typical peachy toned palette. I think that this is great, but I think I just have so many palettes, and I have a lot more palettes to show you guys in this video. I just have so many palettes that I feel like this formula, although it's great, although it builds beautifully, although it looks really stunning on the eyes, I just think that in the grand scheme of things, this is not the palette that I'm always gravitated towards. So if you are a peach lover, I mean, Laura Geller has some amazing eye options. I know that we don't really see Laura Geller as an eye brand. I think that we think of Laura Geller as a face brand because she has, you know, the primers, the baked bronzers, the blushes, the infamous gelato highlighters. So I think we associate that brand to just be more of a complexion base rather than eyes. But I do want to, you know, say that the eyes is, you know, great. It's a nice option, but it's definitely not the best. It's definitely Sunset. It's definitely there. But the next palette here is by Revolution. I just got this in PR, and I feel kind of bad whenever I receive things in PR and I immediately just don't need it. I feel really, really bad because it's like I work so hard to receive free products from a brand, and you know what? Sometimes, you know, not every launch hits the mark for me, and this is another peach tone palette. I have so many peaches in my collection, whether that's blush, whether that's eyeshadows, whether that's glitters, like peach is literally everywhere. So when I saw this, I thought, yes, it's really cute. It's really amazing. I love the tin palettes that Makeup Revolution has. I think the formula in these are great, but like I said, I just have one too many peach palettes. And this one also has 2 pops of blue, and you guys know how I feel about that. I would rather not, and because it's still brand new, I think that somebody else might really enjoy it. Just like with peaches, I got a lot of neutrals. What can I say? I'm a neutral lover. Neutral, love her. And I genuinely feel like in my collection, I got a lot of browns, man, and I have a lot of face palettes that also double up as eye palettes for me. So there's just a lot going on as far as brown and neutrals and tans are concerned. And although this palette is really near and dear to my heart, and although I love the creator of this palette, at the same time, I just don't use it. I don't. And I think because it is still in pristine condition, and although it is, you know, just, you know, very lightly used, I think that somebody else might really enjoy it. And that is the Laura Lee Los Angeles Nudie Patootie palette. I do have a video discussing this palette, and it's really nice. It really is. But I think on me, this runs a little bit more neutral cool. And I'm the type of person who likes my neutrals neutral warm. So this does have, you know, the undertone that I don't really prefer, which is why I don't gravitate towards it. And that's a reason why I need to just let it go. As much as I love Touch and Soul, I think sometimes we have to part with things even though they may have a sentimental value to us. Now, I think the Fill Up Orange palette is a beautiful palette. I think that the color scheme is really cute, but I think just the layout of this palette really puts me off. I had a nightmare about this palette one night. This is really embarrassing, but I had a nightmare that I was forced to use this palette, and ever since that, I never used it because I just was terrified. I know that's just really embarrassing. I hate that about me. But the formula in here is really mediocre. I think I have so many other shadows that blend easily. I think I have a lot more palettes that have a better ratio of matte and shimmer. This one has matte, shimmers, and glitters, but there's literally like 2 mattes in here and the rest are all shimmery. And you guys know me, I prefer more mattes over shimmers. I am the type of person who, if I'm traveling, I would like to maybe use my mattes as bronzer, blush, or eyeshadows, or maybe even the brows. And I feel like with this, I don't really see it being as versatile as how I like it. So unfortunately, this one has to go. I've only used it like twice. So yeah, and I had a nightmare. I just bought this, but I think the more I looked at it, the more I felt like I already have these colors in my collection. And it is by Makeup Obsession. I already took the box out, but I haven't touched it, I haven't swatched it. And this is the Dream with a Vision palette. It has a lot of pastels. I know so many people would love this type of palette. You can take out these shadows. You guys can see that little divot there. And I think, you know what? It looks really, really good. And I think that for the most part, I can skip out on this. I have just so many rainbow palettes in my collection that I probably have a little bit of every shade in different palettes. I just don't need another one. And finally, let's go ahead and talk about a face palette. Now this one is by Profusion. I've only used this one time, and this is a bronzer, blush, and highlighter palette. I think that this looks really good on the skin. However, I have so many other face palettes in my collection that just perform a lot better and that pick up more powder than this. I think that the powders in here have a hard time building up, and it could just be the shades on my skin. I do look very light, but I think that the pigmentation on this runs very sheer. So when you try and build it up, it doesn't build up as easily as, say, you know, Makeup Revolution or maybe Catrice. I think that this is just suited for really fair to light skin tones. And just like that, everyone, we are completed with my declutter video. I hope you guys all really enjoy, and kind of like how I've been hinting in this video, I do want some of these items to have a new home, and I do want to make it a part to really sanitize these items before I ship them out to you guys. So I do have over 90% isopropyl alcohol that I will be sanitizing these items with, just to be sure that they are clean, sanitized, and the items that, you know, I haven't opened, like this palette, for example, I will be sure to wipe them down for you. And all you have to do for this giveaway is that it'll be domestic only, because it's easier on my pockets in the time being. And there's going to be 2 winners. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below about anything, and then fill out the link in the description box below, and that's it. I will have all of the rules down there. And just like that, you guys, that completes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.